Trinidad and Tobago under Commanding General YAHANNA. We will be live on the streets. 91.9 FM every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by Officer Swatiyala and Officer Makwaya. ISUPK under Commanding General YAHANNA live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets. 91.9.
Right. Yeah, shalom again.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Right. This is ISUPK again under Commanding General YAHANNA, Prison Officer Swapiala.
Prison Officer Makwaya.
Prison Officer Barrier.
Right, down here in Trinidad. Right, again, we out here, in Trinidad to bring that reminder, right, and not just Trinidad, Tobago as well, because a lot of times, we would speak on Trinidad and how we are identified as a twin island, is always, very important to, recognize our brothers and sisters in Tobago as well, because, the conditions that we face here in Trinidad, they as well would face these same conditions, right? Being, our brothers as well, being our sisters, being part of this family, right? And again, Tobago have a lot of history as well too, right? And tonight again, where we left off, because it's very important, to enlighten the people, especially on a platform where brothers and sisters, it is lost in a place where every people or every nation or race seeking their own, right, seeking their own, to fill their own houses, with or their storehouses with treasures, with whatever is needed, in any time where there might be, as we say, some knocking at your door. Right. So tonight, again, just like we have been doing, for the past, couple of weeks, again, we want to say Tawada, which means thank you to the host, right? Miss George, hosting us here on the station, right? Again, Tawada to Commanding General YAHANNA, in making us, ready and be, ready to give an answer. Prepare us, in times like this, whereby we could be able to, impart the same, knowledge, the same truth that was taught to him, by the men above him, and in the spirit of the Most High and Christ, which is very important, to impart this truth, to impart this knowledge, and that every brother and sister would gain, the understanding behind knowing the truth, right? So again, the number to call.
Number to call is 342-0081, 466-5391, or 771-1791.
Right. So again, call this number, right? And just as we would mention, our school location is number 1 Morris Street, Point 14. Right. Again, Iowa being a brother from the soil, down there in Point 14, check us out down in Point 14. Right. Again, the number to call, school contact number is 479-8286. Right. Contact our school, contact number. You can find us again on, many of the, the most prominent, social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all the platforms, right? So again, check us out, on as we say on these platforms. Again, we have an upcoming food and clothing drive, just to enlighten brothers and sisters, on a whole, people on a whole, right? Again, in a time like this, we would do what we were raised to do, clothe and feed the people. And in clothing and feeding the people, there's no face in that. Whereby this is why we say, food and clothing drive is totally different
Right.
from religious organization because a brother did a post, did a video, and big up to also Kazak Ahmad,
Right.
out at the DC school, being raised up, under, Captain Mashak, under Commanding General Yahanna, and, doing these videos, and, it's very enlightening where he made a post, and, this, as we say, this oppressor called a lot of these mega organizations,
Right.
seeking assistance, aid, and they turned her down. And the reply was, if that person had reached out, to the school, she would not have been turned down, despite she being, not part of this house or not part of this family.
Right.
We don't, separate, especially when come, as we say, in feeding and clothing people,
Right.
because again, there's a need, there's a aid, right? And we ourselves, would be faced with challenges,
Right.
and being taught and being brought up right, knowing that the position that we supposed to be in was always to serve and to serve righteously,
Right.
right? So these are reminders unto us. These are reminders to the people, to the viewing public, to enlighten and to make them aware, that we are not out here, as we say, for views and like.
Right.
We are not out here, for what, a lot of people might seem it to be, or think it to be, that, that they just, are organization like any other organization. We are a family.
Right.
We belong to our family, and we bring the reminder to this house, to our family.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right. So where we going tonight, Akian?
Well, tonight,
Mhm.
Salakia say family. Tonight we will touch on a couple important things that our people, our brothers and sisters should know.
Right.
Things that they should understand. You understand? Because of course, looking in right now, we see that the Gerald, our fathers in the waters, the Caribbean waters.
That's right.
What should we do
Hmm.
as a people? How should we prep ourselves mentally, spiritually, physically? You know what I mean? When you look at the religious leaders, the top religious leaders, as a matter of fact, they didn't really hear nothing from them.
Nothing.
You understand?
Nothing.
They didn't really hear the what should we do. You understand? What to look out for.
I thought they're supposed to be watchmen.
They're supposed to be the watchmen of
Right.
our people.
Right.
You understand? Which is absolutely important.
Right.
The thing that they're hearing is put faith over faith. You understand? When actually in the book, there are things that we as a people we're supposed to do.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
Just like as I was mentioning earlier, with the other nations, when you read these other nations in the Bible, like the Elamites, the Moabites, the East Indians, the Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
the time coming whereby they knowing they're going down.
Right.
They sort of know themselves, they sort of know the people. You understand? We have brothers and sisters from the school over in Jamaica where under the tutelage of Commanding General YAHANNA,
That's
they're
right.
outside feeding the people and
Right.
clothing the people.
Right.
You understand? Looking out for blacks, Hispanics, and
Mhm.
Native Indians on the island,
Right.
despite the hurricane touched them up.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're still outside there doing what the Lord requires from them,
That's right.
which is absolutely important.
Mhm.
You understand? And we looking back at us over here in Trinidad, looking at the religious leaders to hear well what they have to say. Absolutely nothing.
Right. And as you mentioned, that it is a perfect example how the Lord is function.
Right.
Because you might say that you're in a comfort zone, you're okay. But here the thing about the Lord is this awakening you in this way to know that, hey, join your brothers and sisters.
Right.
So what I go do. It's not like you get spared, but the condition, what taking place, it will affect you.
Right.
So our brothers and sisters in Jamaica is basically the Lord making them know, hey, there's no division amongst brothers.
Right.
Brothers need to be together.
Right.
And this is again is basically what we reminding brothers and sisters here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
This family or this house needs to be together.
Right.
Right. And we see a lot of outstretched or hands reached out from our Latino brothers.
Right.
even in the position that our brother Asha is right now, still sending aid away to Jamaica.
Jamaica can.
Tribe of Zebulon
Right.
or brother Zebulon,
Right.
they still sending aid, to Venezuela.
Right.
Our brother ISUPK. So what we understand is again, in any time of trouble, brothers would come together.
Right.
Right? So
Can.
so
Again, at one time, Book of Ezekiel, chapter 33 and verse 1. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for a watchman, for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and take it not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
And it's so right, in reading our records,
Right.
so right that brothers and sisters take heed.
Okay.
Because even as it mentioned, this is what we have been doing, bringing that warning. Go ahead. That's it. Go ahead and talk on it.
Yeah, so like I say for me, right? Just to add just after we're saying, you understand? The prophet Ezekiel was sent to what? His people. You understand? You want to go through the second chapter, the second paragraph here in Son of Man. Speak unto the children of thy people. As we always see, we are out here, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. Yeah, to what? So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. We are out here for our people. You understand? When Christ gave the order to his disciples, he said, go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
That's right.
You understand? Ezekiel, nothing ain't changed from all the prophets. Ezekiel get his instructions, go to thy people. And he's saying, when he set a watchman over your people, the watchman is to do what? Warn. Warn who? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is what we have to understand. Religious leaders supposed to be the gatekeepers, the watchmen. You understand? Letting us understand that World War I, II, and III is recorded in the scriptures, things that we're going to touch on in a minute.
That's right.
You understand? They're supposed to be the watchmen to show us the nature of the kind of people that is coming in to overtake our brother Asha, which is on the island of Venezuela, Brazil, Colombia. You understand? These are our brothers and sisters. They're supposed to be the ones watching and telling us exactly what direction we need to go in as a people. Everything is recorded right here in the Bible. Just paraphrasing the book of Zephaniah say, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. We as black people, we are scattered through the four corners of the earth, but we are a nation that is not desired by all these other races. Races just means nation in the Bible. You understand? Gather ourselves together. Something beautiful that happened over in Jamaica. Although they don't understand it to a certain degree yet. You understand? But again, under the tutelage of commanding General YAHANNA, who is the leader over this nation, you understand? Under the spirit of Christ, have brothers and sisters in the ISUPK on the ground, giving food and clothes to our brothers and sisters over there. But something beautiful that we have to look at is that these dancehall artists, you understand, that is in Jamaica, they came out and gave aid to our brothers and sisters. You understand? Because why? They understand family. Something that was prophesied by the father of the 12 tribes. You understand? Something that was prophesied by Jacob, the spirit that will be on the tribe of Benjamin, that family spirit. You understand? Benjamin is most predominantly on the Caribbean islands and also here too in Trinidad.
That's right.
So as we're coming out in these radio shows, we're coming out in the classes as we teach, our people are of 12 tribes. And we are all family, we are all blood. These is the thing religious leaders supposed to bring to our understanding.
Right.
But in the ISUPK, under commanding General YAHANNA, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child, we are out here for you. to give you back that thing that was lost, that thing that was taken from you by the oppressor, by the slave master.
Right.
You understand? When we came down on these slave ships, we were all brothers and sisters. But when we came off with the indoctrination of the oppressor of these other nations, we believe that we're not brothers and sisters anymore.
Right.
But again, we are one blood and one people.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that
you
yes,
know,
sir.
and just as you mentioned that, and what we just read, right? And to understand, what is before us right now is a sword.
Right.
Just like, you mentioned the Gerald Ford,
Right.
is in the waters. A sword is before us.
Right.
Something is about to swing.
Right.
And, anybody who, will watch any, martial arts movie or any movie where, there's sword fight in it,
Right.
there's a lot of blood.
Right.
In connection with that sword,
Right.
making, with any, let me say, any element or human flesh.
Right.
And a sword is before us. This is why the watchmen need to bring that warning.
Okay.
This is why the ISUPK under Commanding General YAHANNA is bringing that warning.
Okay, absolutely. Correct.
Where, as you say, where are these religious leaders?
Right.
Where are they, as we say, they're warning to the people, right? Their warning to the people is basically, pray.
Right.
Sit and pray.
Okay. See,
But-
the religious leader saying that only trying to what they're saying. Put faith over fear.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So going directly in what you're saying.
Mhm.
Pray.
Right.
When we have things to do, so like
Right.
you say.
Yeah. No sweat. And and again, it's good to bring that point as
Right.
well, because without any understanding, you wouldn't ever be in any sort of prepared or readiness for what could happen.
Right.
Let me say within the next minute,
Right.
within the next second, within the next days, coming days. This is why we are bringing that prepared readiness
Right.
to our brothers and sisters, to as you say, on the whole, to Trinidad and Tobago, and making it known that in the waters, that, as we say, that is happening right now, and again, they name it or make it known, is the largest carrier
Right.
in the world.
Right.
So if this is made known, and questions is going over questions here, what this doing? Why we keep asking questions?
Right.
You know why we keep asking questions? Because we won't warn concerning
Absolutely
what is taking place.
Right.
But notice, the Lord as our Father always had a remnant
Right.
prepared for times like these. This is
Right.
why these warnings would be brought out. This is why these reminders would be brought out.
Correct.
Just as we read here. And as you see, we are the watchmen
Right.
chosen by the Lord. This is why we always say that the truth lives here. The truth lives inside this school.
Right.
The truth lives here, and the spirit of the Most High and Christ thrive where the truth is.
Right.
It grows where the truth is. This is why we would continue to speak the truth. And what would happen? We would see everything that was spoken of in, as we say, in our records coming to pass.
Right.
These are reminders unto us again,
Okay.
right?
So like I said, that's add a little bit to what you're saying again too. And when you hear you subscribe to the Bible, you understand the teachings and the understanding of the Bible through the ISUPK and the Commanding General YAHANNA.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be in fear. You understand? It wouldn't be in fear to the extent whereby when religious leaders, they ain't hearing from religious leaders or
Right.
politicians or people in charge.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if you're hearing and feeling the panic outside, you understand? Because the people looking to hear what going on,
Right.
what happening out on the waters.
Right.
You understand? And our leaders, they just silent.
Mhm.
As the scriptures say, the gates languish.
Right.
You understand?
Mhm.
The gatekeepers, they just silent. So the
Mhm.
people in the unaware of what happening.
Right.
But as I was rightfully saying, you know what I mean? The school, when they hear you have a watchman, they will watch and say, hey, this is the things that needs to be done.
Mhm.
You understand? These is the things that we need to do. These are the things that our people need to do. You understand? In times like these.
Mhm.
So like you said.
Right. And It's so you know it always like any child with looking at the other sibling getting a cut tail.
Right.
The first thing that will come to their eye is tears. You feel as you say the professor or in prophesy in this. Then as we say the cry unto the Lord.
Right.
Scripture say the cry.
Uh,
You know what when as you say when as you say that bell pass, you mightn't be as we say in the way,
Mhm.
but to know your brothers, to know your sisters, or to know your as we say your sibling,
Right.
getting that cocktail, it brings some sort of tear to eye. So you know what you will do before that happen or before that take place. You give them that warning.
Right. Okay.
Give them that warning. Or they know how daddy is.
Right.
Daddy leave instructions. Or they don't go against daddy instructions. Because when he
Okay.
come, you ask the question. And anybody, found, not complying with the instructions that was left, there would always be, as we say, discipline
Right.
in that in those instructions. So what we bring into our brothers and sisters, we make it known, just like as we say, a lot of people read the New Testament concerning Paul. Despite all what was taking place, he prayed that that all Israel be saved.
Right.
We follow, as we say, the men that follow Christ. Our echo, our voice is to our brothers and sisters. Don't fall in that snare.
Right.
Don't fall in that trap, because there's always a way back. The Lord always made that provision, as any father would do. There's always a way back to turn from your ways,
Right.
right? And that time period is where we will be given, as we say, a grace period of a time to, as we say, to check ourselves.
Okay.
And what we're doing again is bringing that reminder. As you say, the sword is in the waters.
Right.
The sword could swing at any time. And the men that the Lord, have, right now or on the island of Trinidad and Tobago, raised up under righteous black men, is bringing that warning.
Right.
To who? To our family, to our house. And in that reminder, everyone else would fall in line.
Right.
Just as we see, as record in our records. Because scriptures named or label us, these nations say, but what are wise and understanding people in the sight of who? All these nations.
Right.
Because what we're speaking about, this would be our stability. This is what is going to bring us through in times like these.
Right.
This is what is going to bring this house through in times like these. Because as the nations and them gear up, in as you say, in prepare that readiness for any natural disaster, what the Lord is doing, just like as our records mentioned, it say, put not the oil and the wine till he had sealed who? The men that is going to continue or to be, the people or the brothers or the, as we say, the government
Right.
to run or to rule in righteousness. Notice this, in righteousness.
Okay.
Not just rule. Because a lot of, as we say, these other nations ruling. Show me the righteousness behind their ruling.
Right.
Bring examples of the righteousness in their ruling.
Right.
Again, show. And what you would find, now we would find, as we say, it have a waiver. But as we say, in the rulership of our King Yahweh, or what you will know as Jesus Christ, there would always be an order.
Right.
There would always be an order. And this is why the book of Ezekiel make it known the watchmen going to bring them warning. And in that warning, in failing to adhere to the warning, that blood that is going to be shed in the passing of that sword, it will be on your hand.
Right.
it would be on your hand. Right? So,
Continue again.
right, go ahead.
Right. Verse 6. But if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
Right. So your, as we say, your unrighteousness, you know, you will pay for it. Just
Right.
like as you say, your punishment still due. But here this, the sad part about it, it had somebody on watch.
Right.
And the person that was on watch saw it. They seen it clear.
Right.
As you say, clear as daylight. Clear. What they do? Just like again our records mentioned with the men that receive talents.
Right.
You want to hide your talent, as you say, the blessing that the Lord give you. He open your eyes to make you see all that is before you, and the house of, as we say, your family or your house, you know, running, or as we say, everything in order. What you gonna do? You go hide it from your brother.
Right.
You keep it away from your brother. Yeah, as we say, yeah, the one after you, as we say, that order. So you come after the, as we say, the next brother step out. Now you use the next brother in line. You ain't bring warning. Okay, no sweats. There's also, you know, repercussions.
Right.
There's always, you know, again, you would be faced with what you didn't do.
Right.
Bring that warning. And this is what, again, imagine again, the prophets before us making mention and no making it known. Hey, you could be a prophet.
Right.
But in bringing the warning to the people, there's something behind it. You know, as we say, we need to understand that you have a duty.
Right.
And as we say, a task to perform.
So like I say, if I may, because even when we read the passage, the Lord is letting the watchmen know.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? If you don't go there and give the warning, that person died, I will require the blood from your hands, which is the blood of the watchman.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Which is absolutely important. And in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, under commanding General YAHANNA, you're not taking this job lightly.
That's right.
You're not taking the job as a watchman lightly at all.
Right.
Because we understand. You understand? When the Lord say you will require that blood at our hand, we understand. When the Lord say, when you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, don't give heed to his word, what will befall you? We understand that.
Right.
These
right.
are the things religious leaders are supposed to be pushing out in the airwaves,
Mm-hmm.
screaming to the top of the lungs. You understand? As watchmen over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Letting our people know, hey, destruction is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Letting our people know why we are being gunned down in the streets.
Right.
Why we under police brutality. Why there are abortion clinics. You understand? In every corner you turn.
Mm-hmm.
Why drugs and guns is in our communities. These are the things that they're supposed to be doing as watchmen, telling our people. You understand? But they are like what? They're like the blind.
Right.
Waiting for answers from leaders, from their leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord have the answers right in this book. The
Right.
same book that they're clutching and going to church with.
Mm-hmm.
Under the arm, the answers right inside it. But you know what they're not doing?
Right.
Not opening that book.
Mm-hmm.
They're not opening that book and reading to try to get the understanding of what is inside it to give it to the people.
That's right.
Okay.
Right.
You understand? So like, yes, sir.
Right. Yeah, something to say, Mr. Barrett?
Yeah, what Officer McQuarrie saying is totally correct. You know, all these pastors, imams, what they're looking for, what they're watching for is money, cash.
Yeah.
You know, they're not watching for the flock at all.
Right.
They're watching for what they could gain. You know, so you're totally correct.
Right. And again, what you also are bringing out, and you know, they are coming together. They are under, one umbrella.
Right.
This is why, we would always recognize them, because they follow, the same customs, they keep the same traditions.
Right.
As you say, we know that they celebrate, any, as we say, given day that they would choose to do business on. And again, in the scriptures, it warned us about following after the ways of these heathens, after the ways of their customs.
Right.
And is the glorious thing about this. 57 years now, the ISUPK under commanding General YAHANNA has been bringing this warning. 57 years now, which is approaching where, through the grace and mercy of the Most High, brothers, sisters would gather from the four corners of the earth,
Right.
as we say, in the land of our captives, to honor and recognize, what the Lord did for us.
Right.
What the Lord, deliver us out of the hands of the people them that oppressed us. This is why, the Lord's 57th annual Passover would be held, in Houston, Texas, April 4th, join Commanding General YAHANNA again,
Right.
57 years being that watchman, being raised up and knowing the purpose or the duty of a watchman, and knowing that, a lot is required, and, being or having that blood on his hand, he made sure and do his due diligence, in his time,
Right.
in the truth, and continue on in the truth to raise brothers up, to raise sisters up, to raise family up in this truth, in the knowledge of our history of so-called Blacks, Latino, and Native Indian history.
Right.
Right? Again, the Bible is our recorded history. This is our history book. And this is why we will always mention what we teach is not religion.
Right.
What we teach is, just like a family would sit together and go through, as we say, if you pull your album and you're looking at, family photos.
Right.
And, under some of them photos, it might have, little notes. This one, the Bible is all recorded history. And there was instruction left for us by, by our forefathers.
Right.
And we, adhere to these instructions. We take heed to these instructions, and we know the benefits of these instructions by following them. This is why, we could be, again, the school could be doing this 57 years under the right tutelage, under the right teaching.
Okay.
And Commanding General YAHANNA, again, has been doing that. I would say that they were stubborn, I would say, rebellious brothers. What they did, as we say, they moved away and, come up with their own doctrine, with their own philosophy, and sway other brothers and sisters to follow. But know this, all these things are recorded again in our history.
Right.
And again, we know the importance of bringing the warning. And as we say, that Gerald Ford sitting in the Caribbean Sea is something that needs to be brought to the minds of our brothers and sisters, that at any given time this sword could swing.
Right.
Okay.
And this is why we read concerning, as we say, in the book of Ezekiel, concerning the watchman.
Right.
And the watchman has his purpose. The watchman has his purpose, and in that purpose as well, it prophesied or mentioned that there would be wars, and that war in the Bible is identified as wars.
Right.
Okay.
There would be wars, right? So we could jump from that, and right?
The book of Revelation, chapter 9 and verse 12. One woe is past,
Right.
and behold, there come two woes more hereafter.
Right. And we already, and these are things that we heard about as children
Right.
growing up. We heard about as we say, World War One, and that has passed.
Right.
The other two, as I mentioned, is going to come quickly.
Okay.
Which one had already came?
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. So like you say, if I may, just to add when you say one war has passed, you understand? War means death or destruction. So the Lord is letting our people know one destruction has passed.
Right.
You understand? Scriptures tell us that there are 2 wars more hereafter, which means there's 2 more destruction to happen. And when we look at the major destruction that happened on the earth,
Right.
you understand? As John is getting this revelation, one of the major destruction on the earth, one of the major war, World War One. So like here, we're going to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. Book of Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. The second war is past, and behold, the third war cometh quickly.
Right. Look how, as we say, within, as we say, a time frame or a period, a time, that 2 pass so quick.
Right.
You just read in what? That was what?
Revelation 9.
9. 1 who is past.
Right.
And what come after?
2 cometh quick. 2 cometh after, second and the third. You understand? Now when we go back in 11, so like here, saying that the second war is past. They're telling you the second destruction passed. The second major destruction of the earth. World War II passed. But the Lord is letting us know through this prophet John. You understand? That what? Behold, the third war cometh quickly. World War 1, 2, and 3 is recorded in the scriptures. The Lord letting us know the third World War is coming quick.
Right. So imagine, having records of let me say, of prophecies that things that came to pass, and future prophecies of what is going to befall us, and having a watchman not bringing that warning.
Okay.
That is in no way again, where a position that brothers and sisters should be in, a place not knowing what could befall them. And again, even listening on to a lot of programs where brothers and sisters might call in and say, hey, and even in the papers, let we know what's going on. They would have first
first-hand knowledge of
what is going on. Right? You have something to say about that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The Most High even left descriptions how this third world war would be, in the Bible. That is something that the Christian church is not able to bring to the people.
Right.
So we will be able to see it real. So we're going to bring out some of these descriptions of them. People just had to take heed, and you would get the understanding as to what these things is.
Right.
Right. So we go into the book of Revelations 6 and 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together.
Right.
And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
Right. So again, imagine being in prison, and again, being in a place of discomfort, and something is being revealed to you. And this is what is being revealed to John in this vision. And the vision that is being revealed to him is showing, where there would be a time to come where a lot or these other nations would fall.
Right.
There would be change of governments. And just like as we say, you know, to understand, you know, black people, or to understand, you know, you must be part of this bloodline or part of this family.
Okay.
Because again, we wouldn't be identified as any one of these other nations. Even, you know, we would say, yeah, I part of, you know, the as we say, the Chinese Association.
Right.
Right? They wouldn't identify you as part of that household or part of that family.
Okay.
And we need to recognize that we are part of a family, part of a house. And in the vision that is being revealed is to a brother that is part of this house
Right.
or part of this family to make known or bring first knowledge or first hand, you know, information to this house.
Right.
This is what we're doing.
Okay.
Being a watchman, you're going to bring first hand information to who? To this house.
Right.
Because now being raised, as we say, under our King Yahushai, you know, and being with him in his time, short time, you know, to make it known that, hey, I'll be back shortly.
Right.
To give you a sense of comfort. To know, don't feel that, you know, the time that you, well, as we say, you roll with me, don't feel that time will go wasted.
Right.
So our comfort is where? In these records. Right. Our comfort is knowing that there's a time that is going to come when there's going to be a change of government. As it mentioned, with all the kings,
Right.
you know, all the mountains, you know, these things are phrases, you know, that we would use to identify people, positions,
Strong
and, you know,
okay.
and the authority
Right.
that they hold in any, you know, given place or position in this society. This is a reminder to us, and we should take heed to that.
Right.
Right? We should take heed to that. And again, what Officer Barry had bringing out or
Right.
just read is you know, a warning or a reminder, just like, you know, any watchman would do. And again, this is why we start with our watchman, because it's very important.
Right.
The job of our watchman is very important.
Absolutely correct.
Not just to, you know, to make you know, or have it in your mind that you okay,
Right.
and the people are not, then your job as a watchman, you feel.
Now watch it.
You feel.
Right.
As we say, as we drive in, coming into Port of Spain, it have the famous watchtower.
Right.
To see, as we say, everything that coming to show.
Right.
That was placed there for a specific purpose. On that tower, it would have a what? It would have a watchman.
Right.
In all records, we have watchmen.
Right.
There are watchmen that failed, and there are watchmen that succeed in the Lord.
Right.
And you notice I didn't say fail in the Lord, I say failed.
Right.
Because their due diligence was to run after what the ways and the customs of the society.
Right.
And not recognizing that you run after the ways and the custom of the society, you would leave, as we say in Jeremiah 14:2.
Right.
These gates open.
Okay.
And who will be most vulnerable when these gates open? We see it. We see it clear. We see it clear with our eyes. As we say, delegates came from, you know, from all over. All over. Just as we breaking down, and as we say, and some of these heathens and them can't hold themselves.
Right.
They must identify themselves and balling these Africans.
Right.
Balling this is who they is. They must identify themselves. As we say, delegates came from all over, and make it known to you, hey, you have a ride back.
Right.
Not by boat, by plane ride.
Right.
where is our ride back? The Gerald Ford is sitting in the Caribbean Sea.
Okay.
You know where our ride back is? The chariots of the Lord.
Okay.
The chariots of the Lord is our way back.
Recorded in the Bible.
And it's recorded in the Bible.
Absolutely correct.
Can. And just to make it clear to our people who may not be familiar with the phrase chariot in the Bible, is what the so-called prasad is called UFOs.
That's right.
Right.
You know,
Right.
this is we salvation when things like this would come.
Right.
If I may so,
Right.
Zechariah 14 and 12.
Right. Go ahead.
And this shall be the plague wherein the Lord will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem.
Correct.
And again, scriptures identify Jerusalem being the mother of us all.
Right.
Because in Jerusalem, just as you know, I mentioned before, is where these brothers would gather
Right.
every year. And the scriptures identify, you know, I think it's 3 times in the year that this family or this house would gather.
Right.
Which being, as again, the Passover being one. And this is why it labeled Jerusalem being the mother of us all,
Right.
of the house of this family. Go ahead.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
Right. And everybody see, you know, as we say, a lot of modern day, you know, technology, a lot of modern day, you know, as we say, things that is created, you know, by men, right? That come up with any creation that would cause any natural disaster.
Right.
Right. And again, in witness, just as we mentioned in World War One, in World War Two, just as you say, a natural disaster. In a natural disaster, anything that is created by men, right, to cause any natural disaster could do what? Cause lives to be lost.
Right.
Cause blood to be shed. And there are a lot of examples in the creation, as we say, of these weapons of war.
Right.
These are weapons of war, and the scriptures identify these weapons of war as swords. This is what would be known today as swords.
Right.
That is recorded in these Bible, as we say in all records. Right? This is again a reminder that the watchmen need to bring, which we are doing, and bringing that reminder to this house, to
Right.
this family. Right? Yeah, I'm on it, Barry.
Go on. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
So imagine again, a watchman again. What book we in?
We in the book of Zechariah
In
14 and verse 12.
another watchman of the Lord, making it known to this house, to this family,
Right.
that there's a time that is going to come when these swords would be swung. And it's like, imagine your flesh being removed.
Right.
What kind of sword could pass to consume that flesh?
That'll be something hot.
And you know, again, the Lord say this. He would no longer use, as we say, water
Right.
to, as we say, to bring civilization to a place. But this time it will be fire. That fire is like a purge, like a cleansing. And the heat of that fire, as we say, it's going to consume what? That flesh.
Right.
Right? Gamo?
Here.
All right, go ahead.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes,
Right.
and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
Right. And to brothers and sisters who don't understand, what, Sabaria just read, this is thermal nuclear disaster.
Right.
Right.
That is going to take place when, as prophesied, what is going to come quickly?
Yeah.
The third war is going to come quickly.
Right.
Okay.
Third war is going to come quickly.
Okay.
And this is something that is prophesied in our records, in, so-called blacks. And I must say so-called, because this is not who we are.
Right.
We have, as we say, just as we say, we have names: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, right? Name some of them. Gad, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Asher,
Simeon, Levi, Benjamin,
Naphtali.
right.
We have, as we say, a house where, in this house, there would always be, the ones who the Lord, would take up the spirit of the Lord.
Right.
To take that, as we say, as we say, that portfolio, or to take that job as a watchman. And in taking that job, just like, King mentioned to the men, or to the brothers, when the mom came to seek him,
Right.
say, hey, this cup, that, you're asking, this, as we say, ain't no, just as you say, a cup you could just drink from. There would come a lot of, trials with this cup, in drinking from this cup.
Right.
We understand that. We understand that. Why we understand that? Because now it's like this. Just like any child looking up to the father. What they would say, I want to be like you. I want to be like my father.
Right.
My father has a good reputation. My father, is known for doing right.
Right.
This is the reputation that children would want to have, or sons, daughters, to have the spirit, of a righteous father. And again, I must say righteous, not just any father.
Right.
This is why we join, as we say, customs, religions. Because now we look at, as we say, dishonorable fathers. Dishonorable fathers who turned from the truth and followed what? As we say, lies. But righteous fathers never turn, as we say, to the left nor the right,
Right.
but stay on, as we say, on that straight and narrow.
Okay.
Straight and narrow. Because in going to the broad and wide, they know that there's a destruction at the end of that.
Okay.
Right? So, anything to add?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, something like that.
Right.
Yes. One piece of article I'd like to read just to
Right.
describe the scripture what we just read there,
Right.
what it actually is. A nuclear explosion is a rapid release of energy from nuclear reactions like fusion or fusion, which creates a destructive blast of intense heat
Right.
and dangerous radiation. So that is the heat that I was talking about in the last scriptures that could melt your flesh, that could melt out your eyes from your skeleton,
Right.
and could melt out your tongue from your mouth.
Right.
That is what I was talking about.
Right. Thank you. So again, as we come up on the time, just a reminder for brothers and sisters, join us, again, the 14th of December,
Right.
the Feast of Hanukkah, again, where, then there was the sister, right, who stood and stand for the truth, because again there's honorable sisters as well,
Right,
who despite being raised upright by righteous fathers. So again, right? So again, sit a word again, to the host, right? And again, shalom.
Right. Shalom, shalom.
On the streets, 91.9.